Hey, what's up, everyone? Morey here, and today we're taking a look at yesterday's Prefontaine Classic 100-meter final with Kishane Thompson winning with a 985. But a lot of great races, a lot of interesting things that I think we saw. Darnell Hughes 991, Trayvon Burrell 994, and another big one, Bayando Walaza 1004, Christian Coleman 1006 came in seventh place. A lot of great athletes that were competing, and we're looking at here on the left. We have the Olympic finals last year, and so I think it'll be important to take a look at some of the things I think Kishane Thompson is working on to make it so he can have a better finish going into it. But let's get started first with what we saw yesterday, and a lot of the similar type of things that we're seeing with Kishane Thompson when it comes to his acceleration. Really, really effective with his get off. Was surprised with Coleman here in lane four. He did not get out as well as he typically does. Trayvon Bromell got out very, very well. It seemed like he got up a little bit too early with that first step and then had to kind of get back down in the third step. I don't know if that was something that was planned for him or if that's something that he just felt like he got out a little bit too much there. With Christian Coleman, it just doesn't seem like he is as powerful or explosive within like those first 3-4 steps as he was kind of earlier in his career. But it might be just because he's working on some technical things within that, and he's still waiting to be able to see or starting to reap the benefits from that. So it's one of those things that always ends up potentially taking some time. Kishane Thompson, again, very, very good at being able to get that first foot down. We could see him here in the middle, and then just being able to consistently drive for a long period of time, gets out in front very well. And I thought which was most surprising about this race was that Darnell Hughes came back from a very, very far back position. I think this sets him up very, very good going into the later parts of the year, just because, he didn't have a great start here. He got out, he was really upright pretty early on. And I mean, it was probably helpful to be next to Trayvon Bromell just to be able to help him get him going with the drive phase. But even him, he popped up a good amount and then got back into that drive phase a little bit more, like a more forward lean, and then from there was able to get into a good top speed. Ended up coming in second place, right next to Trayvon Bromell, but came from really, really far back. He was probably in last place or maybe second to last place here, and then was able to come back into second place. And it kind of shows that while Kishane Thompson's looking a lot better, even Darnell Hughes here came back on him a little bit at the end. And so there's still some things that he probably needs to work on within that last part of the race. To me, what ends up being the difference with him is he looks like he's a lot more kind of relaxed within his upper body, especially when we look at the other view here. You can see that he is not nearly as tense. Notice in the Olympics, he looked like he was very tensed up here. And I think that made it so then he wasn't able to get as much distance per step. It does seem like kind of stumbling a little bit through here. Like as he gets going, he's kind of stumbling. Look at that, like that right step right there. Like that wasn't a clean right step. And this is what gives other athletes kind of the opportunity to be able to catch up with them. Is he gets kind of later on here, and his steps just don't seem as consistent, as fluid. And you can see again, really Trayvon Bromell come back in the screens. Darnell Hughes, he was really out in front. He could have probably ran, you know. And this is why it's exciting to watch him, because it seems like he's going to be able to get into sub 9.7s, which we haven't seen for a long period of time since like the Usain Bolt and Asafa Powell time period. And so he seems like he's somebody that can do it, but then he also seems like a guy that might not be able to do it because when he gets to his top speed, it just seems like he has a hard time putting it all together. But when you watch him in like the first 50, first 60 meters, I would love to see what his 60 is. It seems like he's going to be such a great high level sprinter. But then again, like that last 40, it just seems like he's having a hard time just being able to control all the power he's able to generate into the ground. And it seems like a lot of it has to do with just how he's striking the ground with the right leg, in my opinion. He might be a little bit too quick in being able to lean over to the side with all of his weight. It might be something within his hip. Maybe his hip is a little bit kind of loose. He needs to strengthen up some of the muscles there. But it just seems like how he's landing on the right side. And as he gets later into the race, like he starts to fall back on that foot more. You can see he's landing much more on like the heel kind of back part of the foot, where we see Usain Bolt, we see Noah Lyles, we see again, Asafa Powell, they're always staying much more on the front part of the foot when they're landing. And he does a good job or a better job on the left side. You can see how he gets that foot down and he's able to land more with his weight more forward. Where on this side, he's really going much more into like a braking position. Again, I think what he's trying to do is really loosen up his arms to be able to make it so he can maintain the ability to pick up more distance. But it seems to me like it needs to be more of like a lean thing. Like you can see here how he's really turning and rotating on this right side, which seems like it's kind of throwing off the balance. Where on the left side, he's much more balanced, much more controlled. And again, looking at what we were seeing in the Olympics before, we could see that he ended up kind of leaning forward a good amount at the end and just looked really, really tight. So it's good that he's working on the second half. It's good that obviously, everybody can see, and I'm sure can as well, that last 40 ends up being a big kind of weakness for him. And something that he needs to be able to improve. And so he's obviously putting in the time. He's obviously trying to work on it. And now it's just going to be one of those things where he just needs to be able to get a more consistent landing, I think, on that right side to be able to make it so he has a long-term improvement. But nothing against obviously any of the things that any of these guys are doing. Just when we're looking at this, big thing, to me is let's look at the technique. Why are we on here watching the sprinting? The whole idea of this channel, if you haven't figured out already, is just to be able to look at the technique. What are these guys doing to be able to run at such a high level? And it really stands out with Kishane Thompson that he's doing a great job of being able to accelerate, keep that weight forward through that first 7-10 steps. I use him as an example to show athletes all the time what that acceleration wants to look like, but I definitely don't use his top end speed as much as I use Noah Lyles, Usain Bolt, Asafa Powell, and the results show why that is happening. And so to be able to work on it again, to me, just some of the things that stood out are just like the rotation, the upper body, the arm swing, where we're landing on the feet. And these are all things that you could obviously train yourself. It's just going to take it a long period of time to be able to make it so it goes from something that is maybe a lot below average to something that you could really rely on consistently. And it seems like that's going to be, again, same thing with like Christian Coleman. Looks like he's working on things within his technique. Even we saw with Sha'Carri Richardson, she's probably working on things within her technique. So the idea is you want to get to the point where at the end of the season, you're doing the best type of work. And so that's where I think a lot of these guys are going out with that mentality. And to see, again, Kishane Thompson run 985, see Trayvon Bromell run 994, I think it sets us up perfectly to see a great September and even summer months here as we're going into the end of the track season. So as always, guys, thanks for watching. If you like the information, click that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. If you have questions, comments, or recommendations, leave those down below. And as always, we'll talk to you soon.